In the quaint town of Goshen, Massachusetts, nestled between dense forests and rolling hills, Violet had found her new home. But amidst its charming facades and winding streets, whispered tales of the abandoned Henderson farm persisted. Locals would lean in, their voices hushed, speaking of the forsaken land, especially as the leaves began to turn. One cool, dusky evening, Violet's insatiable curiosity got the better of her. With a sense of excitement mixed with apprehension, she embarked on her solo expedition. The farm sat on the outskirts, the land around it barren, save for an old barn and an expansive pumpkin patch that seemed to stretch endlessly. The barn was a relic, wooden planks warped by time, windows shattered, and paint weathered to nearly nothing. As Violet's boots crunched the fallen leaves, a chilling gust of wind swept across the land. The dilapidated barn's creaky doors moved as if breathing, before slamming shut with an echoing crash. Heart-pounding, she then caught a fleeting glimpse of a black mass darting into the depths of the pumpkin patch. Before her heart rate could stabilize, a sudden owl's cry from above made her flinch, its wings casting eerie shadows in the moonlight. But the pumpkin patch was what truly drew her in. It looked wild, yet a distinct path seemed to have been recently made, guiding her to a gigantic, ancient-looking pumpkin at its heart. It was as if this pumpkin held the weight of countless autumns, its surface etched with an intricate, otherworldly carving. Driven by an unseen force, she reached out. The moment her fingers grazed its cold, rough exterior, the very earth trembled beneath her. One by one, pumpkins around her began to glow, their faces contorted into evil grins. Then, the air grew thick with whispers, voices overlapping, some begging, some warning, "Leave, save yourself." Suddenly, from the softened ground, skeletal hands, remnants of forgotten souls emerged. They clawed at Violet, their touch icy and desperate. Panic surged, her every instinct screamed to run, but the hands were relentless, grasping tighter, trying to pull her into the earth's embrace. From the distance, mournful wails pierced the air, amplifying her terror. Shadowy apparitions, spirits of the patch's past victims, floated around, their faces contorted in eternal sorrow. But the true horror was yet to unfold. The central pumpkin, the monarch of this haunted realm, began to split open. Black, viscous liquid poured out as a figure, twisted and ancient, rose. Its eyes, void of light but full of malice, locked onto Violet's. "The harvest awaits," it hissed, its voice echoing the despair of ages. Summoning every ounce of courage, Violet tore herself from the clutches of the skeletal hands and ran. She sprinted through the fields, the barn, and didn't stop until she was safely inside her home, panting, her body drenched in cold sweat. But as she tried to process the night's terror, a reflection in her living room window stopped her cold. The ancient entity from the patch stood there, its hollow eyes filled with malice. A soft whisper, chilling to the bone, filled the room. "You cannot escape the harvest." The next day, Violet's house was eerily silent, void of life. But at the Henderson farm, the pumpkin patch seemed more vibrant than ever. And at its heart stood a fresh pumpkin, pristine and untouched, waiting for the next tale of terror to be etched upon it. Amber skies faded to a haunting shade of blue as Halloween approached its peak. Rumors mumbled through town of the Carnival of Shadows, which emerged from the veil of forgotten legends once a decade. As children, Sam, Eliza, and Ryan had often shared spine-chilling tales of those who never returned from the carnival. But now, as audacious adults, they were determined to discover its secrets for themselves. Upon arrival, they were greeted by a somber gatekeeper, draped in tattered rags, his face concealed by shadows. His only words, "Leave by midnight, or stay forever." As they ventured in, the carnival sprawled before them, an intoxicating mix of wonder and dread. Sam, always the thrill-seeker, was the first to break from the group, drawn to the tunnel of echoes. Inside, eerie whispers of regrets and past mistakes echoed. He heard his own voice, a younger version, crying out after a fight with his sister, the last words they ever exchanged before she went missing. The weight of unspoken apologies pressed on him, and the once linear tunnel twisted into an endless loop. Eliza, fascinated by the supernatural, found herself before the tent of specters. Entering, she encountered ghostly reenactments of her deepest fears. She watched, paralyzed, as shadowy figures reenacted her near drowning from childhood. The cold water, the suffocating panic, and the icy hands that seemed to pull her under replayed before her. Just as she thought she could take no more, the scene shifted, unveiling other suppressed traumas. Ryan, with his love for puzzles, was tempted by the labyrinth of despair. The maze was a disorienting blend of mirrors and smoke. Each reflection showcased a different path his life could have taken. Alternate realities where he either succeeded gloriously or failed miserably. One particular reflection seemed too real, his deepest insecurity of being alone, mirrored by an image of an old, isolated version of himself, surrounded by darkness and silence. As the night deepened, the allure of the carnival gave way to its horrors. Whispers grew louder, shadows darker, and the cold more biting. The distance between the friends seemed to expand infinitely, each ensnared by their personal nightmares. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream pierced the night. A massive shadowy beast with blood-red eyes, known in legends as the Guardian of the Shadows, emerged, its intent clear, to ensure none left after midnight. Panicking, the trio, driven by instinct, began to gravitate towards each other. Sam's voice echoed a desperate plea for forgiveness, causing the tunnel to straighten. Eliza faced her phobia, reminding herself of the strength that had pulled her out of those treacherous waters years ago. The specters faded. Ryan, focusing on memories of love and friendship, found a light within the maze, guiding him out. As the clock neared midnight, their paths converged, and a blinding light illuminated an exit. Racing against time, with the Guardian hot on their heels, they sprinted towards freedom. Just as the beast was about to strike, they crossed the threshold, finding themselves back on the outskirts of town. Breathing heavily, the trio clung to each other. The Carnival of Shadows was not just a place of external terrors, but a mirror to their internal demons. They had faced their darkest fears and emerged stronger. Years later, the tale of their harrowing escape became legendary. But the most vital lesson was understood only by the three of them. Confronting one's inner shadows was the key to escaping any nightmare, no matter how real it seemed.